my dolly dearies, and welcome to another video. So today we've got something a little bit different for you. I've been commissioned by the lovely Tucker of the band Sophie Tucker to make a doll of him and his partner Sophie to promote their new Wet Tennis album. I am really excited because this is the first big commission I've had in a while, and it's definitely going to be a change from my normal dolls, so it should be really interesting to do. Make sure to go and check out their Wet Tennis album as well. And don't forget, I've also got a Redbubble store, so make sure to go and check that one out. But without any further ado, let's get on with the video. For this doll, we shall be using this, slightly rough-shaped doll. I'm not exactly sure who he is, but he's seen better days, certainly. He's had some blue staining, some failed plastic surgery. He's a bit all over the place, but I am sure that we can fix him up. It's all a bit weird, and I'm hoping that all of the blue will come off with acetone. If not, we're gonna have a little bit of a problem. But to begin, we can start taking away the face with acetone. This also thankfully took away the blue, which was a great relief rather than having to find some sort of stain remover or cream to remove it. So that's good. And we're also going to remove his eyebrow piercing, which was really stuck in there for some reason. And with all of his face paint removed, we can get on to tidying up his plastic surgery a bit by buffing the rest of the rough ridges out with a nail file. With that all done, he is looking pretty good and in pretty good shape. But now it is time to remove his head. To do this, I heat up the squishy vinyl head with a hairdryer to make it extra bendy as to not damage the neck peg. Then, taking a pair of needle nose pliers, I scrape around the inside of the head to remove all of the gunky hair plugs. This one was really quite gunky and tough. My pliers are never not sticky at this rate because of all of the doll hair that I pull out, but this was peculiarly sticky. It was absolutely disgusting. Let's put that in the bin. And using a wipe, we can clear the rest of his head with some acetone. Now we can start on his shoes. Taking these Monster High shoes, I have no idea who they're from as usual. I am going to pierce holes in the little lace holes, as this shoe does not have any laces, and I think it could be quite cool to add some laces to the shoes. And we will give them a coat of white gesso. I tried my best to stick to the designs which both Sophie and Tucker wore in their Wet Tennis albums, so I made the shoes as close as I could to the actual trainers, having to alter them in some places to fit to the shoe sculpt. To start, I take a pale orange to paint the tongue of the shoe. This was the main part of the shoe on Tucker's shoes. They were a bit simpler compared to Sophie's, and much easier to do compared to this sculpt. I paint some pink around the edge, and as an extra fun detail, I paint the bottoms all colours of the rainbow. Now for the laces. With the holes that I pierced previously, I take some embroidery thread and cut it to size before taking my rerouting tool and stabbing it through the holes in the shoes. Now be careful with this because I did end up breaking my rerouting tool while doing this, but I'm lucky enough that I've got a bunch of spare heads. But they're pretty cute, and I add in a small bit of ribbon at the back. Now we can move on to painting his head to prepare for the hair. Since his hair is blonde, I didn't really have to paint it because the blonde I have is similar to the skin tone, but I did anyway because we'll be adding some flocking to the sides. I plug him a suitably thick mohawk using some miscellaneous hair that I got in a doll lot off eBay. Now into the sock of shame for the face up. We can give his face a coat of Mr. Soup Clear to get started. To begin, I will take my chalk pastels to start slowly sketching in eyebrows and adding some depth and definition to his face. I'm going for a more realistic doll to make it actually look like him, so we're not going to have as much intense shading and vivid colours and crazy eyeshadow, since we are just making humans this time. Still, I add some depth to his eye sockets, some pink to his lips, and some depth and definition around his nose. Whenever my chalk pastels go too awry, I take a kneaded razor to dab away at them. Then, with my pencils, I can start sketching in some details. I take a brown similar to the skin tone to sketch in the base for the eyes, so that if I mess up, it will not be too visible. And using the arm of a turtle eraser is very good to get in the small spots. I go in with progressively darker pencils to add more depth and detail to the eyes. And more pinks to the lips. Taking some whites, I add highlights to his cupid's bow, underneath his eyebrows, eye crease and nose. It's about now that I realise that I've made quite a fatal mistake, in that I almost forgot to draw on his beard. Luckily, this can be rectified. Taking a very sharp brown pencil, I draw in teeny tiny little squiggles over and over each other to look like the hairs of a beard. I do this with one base colour of brown before going over it in different blacks, whites, browns to get more detail and depth. Now, on to the tattoos. Tucker very kindly sent me close-up photos of all of his tattoos so that I could get them all correct. To do the tattoos, I have to make sure my pencils are super duper sharp to sketch in the teeny tiny lettering and details on each of the tattoos. But we can continue on with the last few details on his face, such as taking some white gouache paint to add highlights to the eyes. But with that, his face is done and we can retrieve him from the sock of shame. And I gently squeeze his temples to reattach his head to his body. Now, with his hair looking a little bit funky, we can give a bit of work to it. Taking all of the offcuts from his trim, I will glue those to the side of his head as the close shaved bit because rerouting that would not look amazing. So I spread on some PVA glue on the side of his head and press some of the loose hair as flocking onto the side of it. And he's got a pretty decent looking trim, not as curly as I would have liked, but the hair did not take well to heat or curling. Now onto his clothes. I wanted to make sure everything was perfect, so I made some test patterns on another doll, making sure to cut them all to size. And with all of my patterns thoroughly tested, I ordered some custom fabric for this piece. And with all of the pattern pieces done together, since they are very simple patterns luckily for me, he has got a pretty nice looking outfit. You can get the pattern for the exact outfit, the pattern pieces for the doll, and if you want to order your own custom fabric from Contrado, there'll be links to all of that in the description box down below. Then he is looking pretty damn sweet. But we are missing, of course, the final detail, a tennis racket, since it is for the Wet Tennis album. To do the tennis racket, I take 2 lengths of wire and wrap them around a nail polish bottle, so we've got a tennis racket-esque shape. Then I paint it with some neon yellow nail polish. It's green. And put some ribbon around the bottom, and we have got a very nice looking tennis racket. But with that, he's done. Unfortunately, this time round you don't have your nice 5 minutes of pretty photos taken in forests and such, because I'm waiting to get photos of him with his partner Sophie. Nonetheless, I am very proud of this doll, and seeing how I don't work on many male dolls, he's really quite good looking. And I'm really happy with the custom fabric and how everything on this doll turned out. In total, really good doll, very happy with him, super proud that this was a commission. But as always guys, if you enjoyed the video, please like it, maybe subscribe if you're feeling adventurous, and share it with a friend if you liked it that much. But as always, thank you guys so much for watching, and I shall see you all in the next one. Bye!